world and your family will be extinguished!
And Malekith, the dark elf who reigned terror. Anyone who has watched Thor: Dark World is quite familiar with the name Malekith. But even though he was the main antagonist of the movie, he is often forgotten and even considered one of the worst villains in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because, let's be honest, the movie version of Malekith was quite dull and quickly overshadowed. Malekith was created by Walt Simonson and first appeared in Thor numbers 344 to 349, June to November of 1984. Malekith from the comics is immensely different from the movie version. Malekith was far more powerful and vengeful in the comics, something the MCU failed to portray.
Malekith could at last unleash the ether.
Malekith gets overshadowed as Thor's potentially worst enemy because of Loki, whose brotherly bond and simultaneous hatred for his brother create a much more compelling story that hooks the audience. But all these do not overcome the fact that Malekith was created as a perfect antithesis to Thor and had some abilities which were on par with the Allfather himself. So, what makes Malekith such a compelling villain worthy of praise? Let's dive right in. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Malekith origins. Malekith was born in the dark and dreary realm of Svartalfheim to Lazy Mazerat of the Black Bough clan. He had 12 brothers who died in the war against the trolls, even though his mother had promised he wouldn't have to fight in the war. Malekith was eventually sold off for the price of 2 sacks of snake livers and half a barrel of pickled toads. As he was dragged away, mockingly, his mother told him that at least he wouldn't have to fight in the war. Malekith got the job of being a corpse burner, where he burned all the corpses of the Dark Elves after every battle. Malekith had murderous intentions right from the beginning, as sometimes he even used to burn soldiers who were still alive so that he could get more food in his stomach. Eventually, he gets kidnapped by the trolls and ends up locked in with another Dark Elf who asks Malekith if he would wrestle with a millipede so he could roast it over the fire and gain some strength to perform a magic trick. This Dark Elf turns out to be a powerful wizard who was renowned.
Comes the darkness. Long live the night!
Soon the war against the trolls gave way to the war against the Light Elves, border skirmishes with dwarves, and terrorist attacks on gods. All these years, Malekith served as an apprentice to the wizard as he learned the art of sorcery. Soon enough, Malekith has grown up and his master praises him for his skills and tells him that he had surpassed the wizard long ago and was a natural at sorcery with immense raw talent. He then tells Malekith that it is time to end the war and he is the one who should be at the forefront of the movement to end the war in their realm so that it does not perish. To the wizard's utter astonishment, Malekith refuses the idea and attacks him. According to Malekith, stopping the war would mean admitting that he's weak, and there was no way he would let that happen. Malekith realizes that war is the fire that forges the elves' hearts, and as long as he is alive, there will always be war, as he doesn't know what he would be without it. This shows that Malekith was a creature of chaos. He strived for violence and killing without remorse. And killing without no remorse. Just before the wizard breathes his last breath, he attacks Malekith's face with a spell. Soon after, Malekith returns to his hometown and visits his mother. She does not recognize him at first and thinks of him as a lord who came to buy her hunting dogs. As soon as she sees his face, she instantly recognizes him and asks him what happened to his face. Malekith patronizes his mother about the 2 sacks of snake liver and half a barrel of pickled toad not being enough, as she tries to make him understand that she needs it to feed the dogs. Malekith accepts that since they are the lords of the wild hunt, of course, providing the dogs is the most important thing, as he controls the dogs to attack and kill his mother, revealing his two-toned face. Thus, Malekith, the accursed, came into the origin, and soon became the king of the Dark Elves and one of the most influential and dangerous characters of the Thor universe.
To be. Your world and your family will be extinguished!
Darkest story, Malekith from Thor, The Dark World. Christopher Eccleston plays the role of the Dark Elf in the MCU movie Thor, The Dark World. The movie stars with Malekith locked in battle with Bor, king of Asgard and Odin's father. Malekith prepares to launch the Ether, a weapon of mass destruction that converts all matter to dark matter. It is Malekith's ambition to turn the world to darkness and establish the supremacy of the Dark Elves once again. As the convergence, which is the alignment of the 9 realms, approaches, Bor foils Malekith's plans as he defeats the Dark Elves and gains possession of the Ether using Bifrost. But unknown to Bor and the Asgardian troops, Malekith and a few of his troops, known as the Cursed, escape on their ship, where they are suspended in limbo. In the present day, Malekith and his forces are awakened when Jane Foster becomes host to the Ether and the convergence approaches yet again. Having tracked the Ether's location and determined to fulfill his mission this time, Malekith prepares an attack on Asgard to gain possession of the Ether. His Cursed soon attacks Asgard after sneaking in as ordinary prisoners. Despite attempts of Asgardian soldiers and Heimdall himself to stop their spaceships from reaching the palace, Malekith manages to destroy their defenses and reaches the courtroom where he destroys Odin's throne. He finally comes across Jane and Frigga, Thor's mother, who is protecting Jane as they head away. The two ensue in a battle where Frigga has the upper hand, and something entirely in contrast to the comics because Malekith was much more powerful, even though Frigga is no less. He almost dies at the hands of Frigga, but one of the Cursed arrives and rescues him. As he approaches Jane to extract the Ether from her, he realizes the moment he touches her that she is just a projection, and the real Jane is not there. Frigga refuses to disclose Jane's location, so he has her killed. This is the moment Thor arrives and strikes Malekith with lightning that hits his face, resulting in his close resemblance to the comic version of having a two-tone look. Before Thor can kill him, Malekith and his Cursed make their escape. Betraying Odin's orders, Thor escapes with Jane with Loki's help, and the trio travels to the Dark World using a secret pathway, where they come across Malekith, who has already sensed the Ether's presence.
Look at me.
Thor and Loki stage a fight amongst themselves, and Loki sacrifices Jane to Malekith to manipulate him into extracting the Ether. As soon as the Ether is removed, Thor attempts to destroy it but is unsuccessful. Malekith absorbs the Ether into himself and becomes stronger. Even though Thor and Loki try to stop him, they are left battling with the Cursed as Malekith escapes. Malekith arrives in Greenwich to fire the Ether as the 9 realms converge together. Thor comes to stop Malekith along with his mortal comrades Jane, Darcy, Ian, and Eric Selvig. Thor engages Malekith in battle but is overpowered as they battle across realms due to the various portals constructed due to the convergence, but one portal separates them. As the 9 realms align, Malekith manages to unleash the Ether. Thor arrives in time to stop him, and with the help of their scientific equipment, they teleport Malekith back to Svartalfheim, and he perishes from being crushed under his own ship. Why MCU's Malekith was made different from comic Malekith. MCU lost an excellent opportunity to give Malekith a special live-action appearance worthy of his character. He was changed beyond recognition due to his similarities with Loki. Thor: The Dark World has not been a fan favorite for various reasons, but one of the main reasons was the Malekith. His comic version is far different, but Marvel Studios believed that accuracy would confuse the audience. Malekith's ambitions in the movies, his appearance, and his lack of powers were all considered bland by fans. Comic Malekith is known for his unique appearance and strength, much of which was changed in the movie. His iconic half-blue, half-black face, which was a feature from his childhood, was altered, and only a slight resemblance was shown in the film. Much of his power is exhibited in the movie that he inherited after possessing the Ether were already in possession of comic Malekith. Marvel Studios changed Malekith's skin color as Loki was half frost giant and had naturally blue skin in the movie. They thought audiences might mistake Malekith for a frost giant instead of the actual nature of a dark elf. Malekith's backstory of a tragic childhood and family abandonment is quite similar to Loki's as well. Even though it would have been a delight if his story could have been explored on the big screen, it unfortunately did not come to light, and Malekith truly missed out on a chance to be one of the best MCU villains, much to fans' disappointment.
'Tis Malekith.
What makes Malekith such a powerful individual? Malekith is an extremely powerful sorcerer, but he also possesses many superhuman abilities, many of which are attributes of his race, like superhuman strength. He can easily lift up to 10 tons and more. He also possesses superhuman speed, stamina, and reflexes. He has an extended lifespan and ages at a very slow rate. Even though his body is highly durable, it is possible to injure him. Although he has excellent regenerative powers and heals very quickly, Malekith can use his sorcery powers and manipulate energy for various destructive purposes. He can use magic manipulation to enhance his physical abilities even further. He is also exceptionally skilled in hand-to-hand combat. Although his usual fighting style involves sorcery and spell casting, it is believed that even though he is known to be dead, it is possible he used his healing abilities and appeared to be quiet and might still be alive. Malekith often uses the hunting horn of fairy to summon the wild hunt when he wants to track somebody.
Panther, watch out!
Malekith's attractive appearance in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Malekith makes an appearance in the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes episode titled The Casket of Ancient Winters and is voiced by Quinto Flynn. After being resurrected by Loki and forming an alliance, Malekith tracks down and obtains the Casket of Ancient Winters. He ends up betraying Loki and opens the casket to unleash its powers. Meanwhile, in America, the Avengers try to figure out the source of this freezing weather as ice monsters appear in the city and terrorize the citizens. As the rest of the Avengers fight the monsters in the city, Thor, Iron Man, and Black Panther track down the source location of Norway. They come face to face with Malekith in his two-tone face, long white hair glory. The heroes then engage him in battle, although he seems to have the upper hand. As Malekith almost releases the casket's power to full potential to resurrect his fellow dead elves, Black Panther tells them that in Wakanda, technology and magic often work together to achieve things otherwise impossible. Iron Man and Thor then work together to defeat Malekith as Iron Man's suit weakens Malekith due to iron being a significant weakness of Dark Elves. Thor then strikes them with lightning as he wields Mjolnir. This combined effort results in Malekith losing all his powers and perishing again as the Avengers save the day yet again. Although the MCU could not give justice to Malekith's character, he does remain one of the most potent adversaries that Thor has ever faced. He was mighty and caused quite a few massacres. There remains much to be explored with his character as he was also an important figure during the War of the Realms arc. We can surely hope for his character's revival and a second chance for him to establish himself as a true MCU villain. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.